Throughout history, scientists have made groundbreaking discoveries that have changed the world. But what happens when those discoveries have unintended consequences? From nuclear weapons to climate change, here are the top 10 discoveries that scientists wish they had made. Number 10. Nuclear weapons. In the 1940s, the United States developed the first nuclear weapons as part of the Manhattan Project. These weapons were used in the bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, killing over 200,000 people. During the Cold War, the threat of nuclear war loomed large as the United States and Soviet Union stockpiled thousands of nuclear weapons. Tensions came to a head during the Cuban Missile Crisis in 1962, when the world came closer to nuclear war than ever before. As the dangers of nuclear war became increasingly clear, anti-nuclear protests and disarmament negotiations gained traction. In 1968, the Treaty on the Non-Proliferation of Nuclear Weapons was signed, with the goal of preventing the spread of nuclear weapons. Today, there are still thousands of nuclear weapons in existence, and new technologies like missile defense systems have added to the complexity of the issue. The threat of nuclear war remains a concern, with ongoing tensions between nuclear-armed nations. The development and use of nuclear weapons has had a profound impact on the world, and it's up to all of us to work towards a future without the threat of nuclear war. Number 9. Climate change. Climate change, a problem that affects us all. In this video, we'll explore the causes, effects, and solutions to one of the most pressing issues of our time. Climate change is caused by the burning of fossil fuels, which releases greenhouse gases into the atmosphere. These gases trap heat, leading to a warming of the planet. The effects of this warming are already being felt around the world, from melting glaciers and rising sea levels to more frequent and severe natural disasters. The burning of fossil fuels for transportation and energy production is the main source of greenhouse gas emissions. In addition to this, deforestation, agriculture, and other human activities also contribute to the problem. The good news is that there are solutions to climate change. One of the most important things we can do is to transition to clean and renewable energy sources, such as wind and solar power. We can also make changes in our daily lives, like using public transportation, eating a plant-based diet, and reducing our consumption of meat and dairy. Individual actions can make a difference, but systemic change is also necessary. Governments and businesses have a critical role to play in addressing climate change through policies like carbon pricing and investments in clean energy. Number 8. Dichlorodiphenyltrichloroethane, DDT. Dichlorodiphenyltrichloroethane, or DDT, was once considered a miracle pesticide. But as we'll see in this video, its impact on the environment and human health has been devastating. DDT was first developed in the 1940s and quickly became a popular pesticide, widely used in agriculture to control pests. But DDT is highly persistent in the environment, and it was soon discovered that the chemical was harming wildlife, particularly birds. Studies showed that DDT caused thinning of birds' eggshells, making them more fragile and less likely to hatch. This had a devastating effect on populations of birds, such as the bald eagle, peregrine falcon, and brown pelican. As the environmental impact of DDT became more widely known, the public began to demand action. Activists and scientists, including Rachel Carson, brought attention to the issue and called for a ban on DDT. In 1972, the United States banned the use of DDT, and other countries followed suit. Despite this, DDT is still used in some countries today, and its impact on the environment and human health continues to be a concern. Number 7. Genetically modified organisms, GMOs. Genetically modified organisms, or GMOs, have the potential to revolutionize agriculture and feed a growing population. But as we'll see in this video, the issue of GMOs is highly controversial, with many questions about their safety and impact on the environment. GMOs are created by introducing new genetic material into the DNA of plants or animals. This can create crops that are resistant to pests or diseases, or that have a longer shelf life. The technology has the potential to increase crop yields and reduce the need for pesticides. GMOs have been widely adopted in the United States and other countries, with genetically modified crops such as corn, soybeans, and cotton accounting for a significant percentage of total crop production. However, the safety and impact of GMOs on the environment has been a source of controversy. Activists have raised concerns about the potential health risks of consuming GMOs and the impact of genetically modified crops on non-target organisms. The scientific community is divided on the issue, with some studies finding that GMOs are safe to eat and have no significant impact on the environment, while others have raised concerns. The debate over GMOs has also led to calls for mandatory labeling of genetically modified products. The issue of GMOs is complex and multifaceted. It is important to consider the potential benefits and risks of GMOs and to base decisions on sound scientific research and evidence. Number 6. Plastic pollution. Plastic pollution, a problem that is choking our oceans and endangering marine life. In this video, we'll explore the causes and effects of this growing problem and what can be done to address it. Plastic pollution is caused by the widespread use of plastic products, which often end up in the ocean. Plastic debris can harm and kill marine animals, and it can take hundreds of years to break down in the environment. Marine animals often mistake plastic debris for food and ingest it, causing injury or death. Plastic debris also harms birds and other wildlife, and it can also damage coral reefs and other habitats. Individual actions can make a difference, such as properly disposing of plastic waste, using reusable bags and bottles, and supporting plastic-free initiatives. Recycling is also an important part of the solution, but it is not a silver bullet. Governments and businesses also have a critical role to play in addressing plastic pollution by implementing policies and regulations to reduce plastic waste and promote sustainable alternatives. It's important to work together to create a more sustainable future. Plastic pollution is a global problem that requires a global response. By taking action to reduce our use of plastic and properly dispose of it, we can protect our oceans and marine life. Number 5. Antibiotic resistance. Antibiotic resistance occurs when bacteria evolve to become resistant to the drugs that were once used to kill them. This happens when antibiotics are overused or misused, such as when they are prescribed for viral infections that they can't treat. Antibiotic-resistant bacteria can cause infections that are difficult or impossible to treat. This can lead to prolonged illness, disability, and even death. The World Health Organization (WHO) has declared antibiotic resistance as one of the most serious threats to global health, food security, and development today. The overuse of antibiotics in agriculture is also a major contributor to the problem. Farmers use antibiotics to promote growth and prevent disease in animals, leading to the development of antibiotic-resistant bacteria in animals, which can then spread to humans. To address the issue of antibiotic resistance, governments and healthcare organizations are implementing policies and guidelines to reduce the overuse of antibiotics. In addition, research into new antibiotics and alternative treatments is also crucial to combat this problem. Antibiotic resistance is a serious problem that requires a multifaceted approach. By using antibiotics responsibly, we can preserve their effectiveness for future generations. Number 4. The hole in the ozone layer. The ozone layer is a layer of gas that surrounds the Earth and protects us from the sun's harmful ultraviolet UV rays. The hole in the ozone layer is a thinning of this layer, primarily over the Antarctic region, caused by human activities. The main cause of the hole in the ozone layer is the release of certain chemicals, called chlorofluorocarbons (CFCs), which are used in refrigeration, air conditioning, and other industrial processes. CFCs rise into the upper atmosphere, where they are broken down by the sun's UV rays, releasing chlorine atoms that then destroy ozone molecules. The hole in the ozone layer allows more UV radiation to reach the Earth's surface, increasing the risk of skin cancer, cataracts, and other health problems. It also affects the marine ecosystem and can harm phytoplankton and zooplankton, which are the base of the oceanic food web. In 1987, the international community came together to sign the Montreal Protocol, an international treaty to protect the ozone layer by phasing out the production of ozone-depleting substances, such as CFCs. The treaty has been successful in significantly reducing the production of these chemicals, and the hole in the ozone layer has begun to recover. The hole in the ozone layer is a reminder of the impact of human activities on the environment. By taking action to protect the ozone layer, we can ensure a healthy environment for future generations. Number 3. Pollution of water resources. Water pollution is caused by a variety of human activities, such as industrial discharges, agricultural runoff, and sewage. These pollutants can contain chemicals, heavy metals, and microorganisms that can harm human health and the environment. When people use or consume contaminated water, It can lead to health problems, such as gastrointestinal illness, skin rashes, and neurological damage. It can also harm fish and other aquatic life, disrupting entire ecosystems. Water pollution can be addressed through a variety of methods, such as treatment of wastewater, cleaning up oil spills, and enforcing regulations on industries and agriculture. Community-based efforts, such as monitoring water quality, educating people on the dangers of pollution, and participating in cleanup campaigns can also make a difference. Governments and businesses also have a critical role to play in addressing water pollution by implementing policies and regulations to reduce pollution and promote sustainable practices. This includes investing in new technologies and infrastructure and promoting conservation and education programs. Water pollution is a serious problem that requires a multifaceted approach. By working together, we can protect our water resources for future generations. Number 2. Invasive species. An invasive species is a plant or animal that is introduced to an area outside of its native range and causes harm to the environment, economy, or human health. These species can outcompete native plants and animals, and can alter ecosystems in ways that are difficult or impossible to reverse. Invasive species can have a devastating impact on native plants and animals, altering food webs and reducing biodiversity. They can also harm human health by carrying diseases and impacting economic activities, such as agriculture and forestry. Invasive species can be controlled and removed through various methods, such as manual removal, chemical control, and biological control. Preventing the introduction of invasive species in the first place is also crucial and can be done by implementing quarantine and inspection programs at ports and borders. Governments and businesses also have a critical role to play in addressing invasive species by implementing policies and regulations to reduce the spread and impact of invasive species. It's important to work together to create a more sustainable future. Invasive species are a serious problem that threatens our natural environment. By taking action to prevent and control invasive species, we can protect our ecosystems for future generations. Number 1. The use of pesticides. Pesticides are chemicals that are used to control pests and diseases in agriculture. They are widely used in modern farming to increase crop yields and protect crops from damage. However, the use of pesticides can also have negative impacts on human health and the environment. Studies have shown that pesticides can harm beneficial insects, birds, and other wildlife. They can also contaminate soil and water, and can even drift into homes and communities, exposing people to harmful chemicals. Pesticides can also have a range of negative health effects on people, including cancer, neurological effects, and birth defects. Children and farm workers are particularly vulnerable to pesticide exposure. To reduce the negative impacts of pesticides, farmers are encouraged to use integrated pest management (IPM) techniques, which focus on using a combination of methods to control pests, such as crop rotation, biological control, and the use of less toxic pesticides. Governments and businesses also have a critical role to play by implementing policies to reduce pesticide use and promoting sustainable agriculture. The use of pesticides is a complex issue that requires a balanced approach. By using pesticides responsibly and promoting sustainable agriculture, we can protect our health, environment, and future food security. Science is a powerful tool that can bring great benefits to humanity, but it can also have unintended consequences. The discoveries we've discussed in this video are a reminder that we must be vigilant in our approach to science and technology, and consider the potential risks as well as the benefits. It's important to continue to invest in research and development, but also to approach it with caution and care. We need to work together to create a more sustainable future, one where the benefits of science and technology are balanced with the protection of our health and the environment.